Let's discuss some of the features of Seeking Alpha Premium, which has quickly become my preferred tool to use when I have some extra money to invest and I'm trying to figure out which stock or ETF I may want to invest in next. And I am an affiliate of Seeking Alpha, but I'll do my best to give you a fair and honest review of the service. I think the best way to do this review is just to show you some of the features of Seeking Alpha Premium as I would normally use the tool in my day-to-day. With that being said, let's take a look. So really my favorite way to use this tool is as a data source more than anything else. If I'm trying to look at information on a specific stock, or if I'm trying to find new ideas for stocks that maybe I haven't heard of or really considered before. So if I'm trying to look for new stocks that I might not have heard of, I'll usually go down here to top stocks, and this ranks all of the stocks in the database, which I think is around 4,000. And it gives you a ranking of basically the top, it's like, 37 right now. And the way that it ranks them is it has this quant ranking that's essentially an algorithm that looks at a bunch of different categories like valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and earnings per share revenue. And it gives it an overall score. And then you'll see right now that Micron Technology is the #1 ranked stock. Then you'll see there's also these other categories, which is the ratings that Seeking Alpha analysts are giving it and Wall Street ratings. Now, for any of these stocks, we could actually just go ahead and drill into that particular stock. So why don't we just go with the first stock on the list, which is Micron Technology, or MU. So I'm going to click into this and say I wanted to learn more about this stock. Well, first off, I can see how it's performed over the last year. And over the last year, the stock has done amazingly well. I can see it's up 735%. I could zoom in and look at different time periods. And also I can see on this side here, so I can quickly see at a glance as well, information on its ratings and information on its grades surrounding these various factors. But we already saw that from the last screen. Then if I keep scrolling, I can see different information from different analysts that are covering it on Seeking Alpha. So I can see today, like 4 hours ago or so, this person put in a sell rating. So let's say I wanted to see what their thesis was on that sell rating. With Seeking Alpha Premium, I have access to all of the articles. So I can open this article up and I can see information about why this person is saying it's a sell. Another thing that's interesting is I can see this analyst's previous history on this stock, and that might give me some information on whether I think there's someone that I really should be listening to on this. So I can see over here that they recommended to buy this stock on March 18th, and since then it's gone up over 100%. So it was a pretty good call on that particular stock. Then again, on May 26th, they said this was a buy. It's gone up 3.4% since then. And now today they're saying a sell, so this person's downgrading. So if you're the type of person that likes to read other people's analysis of other stocks for why they're saying it's a buy and sell, you might find this useful. I tend to not look at these articles as much as I prefer to look at the data myself. But anyways, so hey, say I saw this was #1, and say I don't even know what this company does. Assume that. Then I can go down here, read some information about the company's profile, what sector it's in, how large is the company. I can see information about how the revenue has changed. We can see there's massive explosive growth here. So I just want to show you as well some of these tabs up here, which I find to be very useful. So say, I'm going to skip a few for a second. We can circle back, but say valuation. Say I see that it's a B+ in valuation. Now, why might that be? Well, I can go over here to the valuation tab and I can start looking at information on that. So this B+ is going to be a weighted average score of these scores from all of these different grades. Now, there might be certain ones that I prefer to look at, certain ones that other people prefer to look at. I like to look at the forward PE ratio. So the forward PE is the price divided by earnings, but the earnings are next year's earnings, forward in the future. And so I can see that I can expect over the next year that I should get about $1 of earnings for each $16.04 for the total price that I paid, which according to this algorithm is a B+. And one other thing I might consider is that for semiconductor stocks that are making computer chips in this big AI explosion, this might actually be a quite favorable forward PE ratio. But then I can also see there's some price to sales and price to book information that's pointing to a D-. So there's just a lot of useful data here. Another thing that I've found on this valuation tab that's really useful is this information on the PE ratio. In particular, if I click here, the forward PE ratios that go out further into the future. So I can see that if I go based on the PE ratio of the actuals of the past, it looks extremely unappealing. It's an extremely high PE ratio. But now if we go just 1 year out, so the conventional forward PE ratio, it's a 16, which is more attractive looking. Then I can see, once we get to 2027, 2028, we start to get even more appealing. It's getting lower and lower, which is better. And so it's getting down to 8. So why is that? Well, it's because we're dividing by earnings. Okay, well, maybe I want to go take a look at the earnings. So let's circle back over here to this earnings tab. So now I can learn information on this company's earnings. And if I scroll down, I can see this earnings per share chart that changes quarter by quarter from Q3 of 2025 to Q4 of 2025 to Q1 of 2026, etc. And we'll see that this company is experiencing really exploding earnings per share. And then these future ones are just going to be consensus estimates. So once we get to these black bars, we see right here that those are consensus. So that's what people are expecting because there's a massive supply demand gap in this particular memory sector as I'm filming this video. So now we can understand why on the summary page, we were seeing this huge growth whereby you might start to think, hey, why would I ever buy a stock that's up 735% in the last year? Am I just jumping in at the end of a bubble? And now you can dive in and see all this additional information as to actually it might be valued more reasonably given the particular situation that the company's in. You can also see information on dividends. So if you were a dividend investor, they have these ratings regarding how the company is paying out dividends. So we can see information on the dividend yield. We'll see that this stock here is particularly rated an F, and that's because it's really a growth stock that's trying to retain the majority of its earnings rather than paying out dividends to shareholders. So a dividend-based value investor might want to avoid this particular stock. And there's all sorts of information that you can see on the dividends, including how the dividends have grown over time, the history of the dividends they've paid in the past, the estimated dividends in the future that the Wall Street consensus expects for future dividend payouts. So like I said, this company has an F, which means it's probably a growth company. So that could lead us to this tab where we can see information on growth. And there's the flip side of the dividends is that on the growth side, this company has an A+ overall score. And if you look at all of these different individual metrics like revenue growth year over year, revenue growth forward, EPS growth forward, EPS growth in the past, ROE growth, all these things, it's basically an A+ in every category because this company has experienced absolutely insane growth. So I'm starting to get a feel for the financials of this particular company, and this tool has helped me to do that. And one thing I might do is go look at other companies. I could even look at other companies within its own sector. So I can see over here on the right, it's going to show me this quant ranking. And the reason I even clicked on this, if you remember in the first place, was because this stock was ranked number 1 out of all the stocks. So that's where we see it's number 1 out of 4,249. But say if I wanted to see other stocks at the top of its sector, how would I compare it to those? I could click here. So I'm going to click there and just pull this one up and we'll see a screener with other related stocks. And I could start comparing it to some of those and looking at them. There should also be a comparables option over here. So peers. So we can click on peers and start looking at some of the other similar companies and peers, how it's performed relative to them. Are those being recommended as buys or holds or sells? How they all rank in terms of valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, EPS. Then I can start really feeling, say if this was the type of area that I was looking to buy a stock in. Here's some other options I might be looking for, and maybe I'll even find one that I find to be more appealing than the one that I was originally looking at. And I'll just scroll really fast, but as you can see, the information between these comparables just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, and there's just so much information that I could potentially use to compare between all of them. And just like I did a very deep dive into this particular stock, I could do the same thing with ETFs. So say if I clicked on the top ETFs right here, now I can see how are they ranking with their quant ranking, all of these different ETFs. And I could click one that I might be particularly interested in. Say this semiconductor ETF, which that Micron technology would also be in this ETF. So I'll just click in there really quick. And I won't spend as long on this one because we already looked into a lot of these, but there's certain things that you're going to be able to see with the ETF that obviously are going to be different from the stock. So something that might be interesting is like holdings. So we can drill down and see what are the top 10 holdings of this particular ETF. We can also see information surrounding ratings, how many analysts are recommending holds versus buys, how it's changed in that quant ratings recommendation over time. How we can see over here, it used to just be a buy, and then more recently it's becoming that strong buy. And we can see how its score in all of these different categories, momentum, expenses, dividends, risk, liquidity, etc., have changed over every day. And another thing I really like to look at when I'm looking at ETFs in particular is going to be the expenses, because you really want to consider expense ratio. That's one of my primary things I look at. And probably a more telling screen than just this expenses, because it's like, what does 0.35% mean with this ETF? It'd be better probably to look at this peers tab, where we could see how does the expense ratio of this particular ETF that we're looking at right here at 0.35% compare with some of its competitor ETFs. Can we find any that give you a clearly better expense ratio? So I see one right here that does, but this one's broader. This is not just semiconductor. So if I'm only looking at semiconductors, I'm looking at really this one, and this one. And these three all have pretty much around 0.35%. So I didn't find a better peer in terms of the expense ratio there. And then just like with the stock, I can see for these ETFs, all these different things that I can compare them between based on how this algorithm rates them between momentum, expenses, dividends, risk, and liquidity, and a whole bunch of other information as well. Now there's a bunch of different ways that we can manipulate those original screeners. So let's say I go here and click stock screener, and say I want to click on this top rated stocks. And so now I'm looking at, again, all those top rated stocks. Once again, Micron is number one, but say I want to see that forward PE ratio amongst all the top rated stocks. I don't want to have to individually click on each one of them and go to their valuation page. So I can go up here and I can click edit, and I could go to valuation over here, and then let's do PE non-GAAP forward. And now I've added that there, and hit next, and then let's just save. And now we'll see that this column appears. And now I can look at all of these different stocks that are their top rated stocks and see how do they compare on that particular metric that I'm interested in. And I see one right here where I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. That's quite a cheap forward PE ratio of 4.2, and it's the fourth rated stock. Maybe now I'll jump in here and I'll start doing the same thing that I did before and look at all this different information and see if this is possibly a stock that I might want to invest in, read a bunch of people's opinions, look at all the data that's available to me. Another feature that I've found to be pretty useful is that I can import my portfolio's information from my brokerage, which I did for a bunch of my portfolios. There's a few that I haven't imported yet, but say you can just go to click on all portfolios and then click import from broker. So I did that with some of my Fidelity portfolios, and say we just click on this one, which is one of my portfolios, and I can go and look in all the different holdings. And this portfolio I use in a very risky and concentrated way, because this is for 401k, and I'm not planning on really touching a lot of this stuff for like 30 years. So I have a super high risk tolerance long-term view on this portfolio. So I can see all the different holdings in the portfolio. There's kind of these interesting, useful metrics related to it. So let me go, for example, to health score, and this is where their algorithm comes into play. So they want to basically look at the scores that they're giving to the individual stocks in your portfolio and give your portfolio overall scores. So because, this many stocks were rated as strong buys, this many were buys, and this many were neutral, for example, my score is a 4.7. Now, if I look at all the other portfolios in their database, mine's sort of on the right tail, which says it's in the top 3% of the portfolios. I don't know how much I'd read into that, because really seeking alpha, I would say, is a very momentum heavy weighted tool, whereas if a stock has done really well in, say, the past 6 months or the past year, it tends to get rated well by this tool. And this particular portfolio that I'm looking at has a lot of those stocks that did really well over the last year or so. And we can see what are the analyst things, see how I rate there. How is my portfolio ranking in dividends? What are the strengths and weaknesses of my portfolio? So a lot of these stocks in this portfolio have bad valuation grades because they're extreme growth companies. Well, I don't really care about dividends in this portfolio because it's a 401k portfolio that I'm not really planning on touching for about 30 years. It's hard to say. That is something that I possibly should be concerned about. And then we can see that it's doing well in growth, profitability, momentum, and EPS, so the other categories. So then I can also see I'm very overweighted in the information technology sector of this portfolio. One thing to consider is that I have so many other portfolios that a more holistic view would be if I created a portfolio that combined the holdings of every single individual portfolio. So yeah, this one portfolio might be overweighted in something, but I have to consider it in the broad scope of all my other portfolios. So now let's see, maybe why am I doing so bad in this category of valuation? So I can go back up here and click on ratings, and now I can see all these individual holdings and how are they doing in the valuation grade category. And I can see that I've got a bunch with D's and F's in there, so that makes sense why the overall portfolio is like a D for the valuation. And another feature that might be really useful for value investors or investors that like to invest based on dividends is if you go here to this dividend category, you can see what's your estimated annual dividend income from the portfolio. And you can see what's the average yield. So mine's actually quite low because I have all these growth-based stocks. So I'm only looking at about a 1.34% average dividend yield, which is not that high. And we can see over here also that most of the holdings in my portfolio are low dividend yield, or or they don't pay any dividends at all. And so I can also see if I click on these particular dates, like which stocks in this portfolio are expected to pay what dividends and how many shares of that stock I have in this particular portfolio. So these are the features that I really prefer to use the most, and the go-to tools that I use when I'm trying to figure out what stocks I might want to buy, or at least where to start looking and whether that they interest me at all. There's a lot of other things that you can use it for that I don't use it as much. Like there's a whole news section over here with all these different articles. You could go search for any individual stock or information over here. They have some sort of AI search-based tool that uses the information in their database to help answer your questions. They also have this analysis page that's going to show all these new buy, holds, and sells recommendations as they're coming through. You can see that these are coming out like tons of them every different hour. And it also shows you different top analysts. So if you're the type of person who likes to, find people that you want to follow, you can see like, okay, so this person, for example, is ranked number 1 and is having an average return of 111% on their recommendations, and go see what they're recommending at this time, different analysis that they've done in the past. I don't really use this feature as much, but it could definitely be useful to some people. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're interested in purchasing Seeking Alpha Premium, I can get you 10% off if you follow the link on screen. It will also be in the pinned comment and the description of this video.